Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside the Pope Activity Center on the campus of Piedmont International University for tonight's special presentation of Piedmont Bruins basketball on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. I'm Dave Shook. Good evening from courtside as we have a very special attraction tonight for the Bruins. For the very first time in program history, the opponent in this building is an NCAA Division II school in the Trojans from Virginia State University under head coach Lonnie Blow. The Trojans are 4-3 on the season under Coach Blow. They play in the CIAA conference, which if it sounds familiar for those of you from the Winston-Salem Triad area, it probably should, as they play in the same league with schools like Winston-Salem State, who the Bruins have already seen this season. Piedmont, meanwhile, coming off maybe their best win in program history on Saturday when they went down into the Charlotte area and knocked off Pfeiffer University in a wild game down in Charlotte in a rematch of last year's game. It was the first time that the Bruins had ever beaten an NCAA-affiliated school as they knocked off the Division III Falcons 115-102. So the Bruins looking to build upon that momentum here tonight as they take on this Trojans team. The Bruins coming in overall at 4-6. That record a little bit misleading, though, as they've played a very, very stiff, challenging schedule to this point, which includes a number of NCAA-affiliated schools, as we mentioned, also having played Winston-Salem State and having played Showen earlier on this season. The schedule will continue to be very tough as they play Charleston Southern, an NCAA Division I school, coming up at the end of this month. So as we move into December, the Bruins looking to continue to get better before they take on the meat of their schedule at the start of the new year. The opponent tonight, again, for the very first time here in Winston-Salem, is an NCAA D2 school in the Trojans of Virginia State, and tip-off is just a couple of moments away. We'll take a quick time out, and when we come back, we'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip between the Bruins and the Trojans from the Pope Activity Center in Winston-Salem right here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. All right, Erica. All right, so Erica, right after the anthem, you'll So that's a look at tonight's starting lineups as we welcome you back inside the Pope Activity Center. I'm Dave Shook. Our producer engineer tonight is Erica Washburn. Mason Cox is also on hand tonight helping things out. A quick recap of the starting lineup. First for the Bruins, Tamir Glenn wearing number 1, number 3 Kendall Oliver in the starting lineup alongside number 5 China Jones, Malik Morris wearing number 15, and number 32 Colton Bishop also in the starting 5. For the Bruins, 4-6 on the season under head coach Josh Howard in his 3rd year at the helm of the Bruins, coming off the win over Pfeiffer down in Meck County on Saturday. On the other side for the Trojans, from Virginia State, number 1, Cedric Wiggins, number 4, Jameer Howes, number 10, Jalen Jackson, number 11, Ciante Melvin, and number 24, Armand Grieve. The visiting Trojans, again, the NCAA D2 school, 4-3 on the season under head coach Lonnie Blow, coming off a loss to King University on the road on November the 28th, which broke a 4-game winning streak after a 2-game losing streak to start the season. They'll be in the road blue uniforms with the orange and white trim moving from left to right across your radio dial, computer screen, smartphone, tablet, whatever you're using to access tonight's broadcast. The Bruins in the home whites and the powder blue trim with the black and gray outlines moving from right to left. Our official is at center court, standing in the Bruins midcourt logo. The ball is up in the air. It's tapped out of bounds. Last touch off of the Trojans, and the Bruins will have the opening possession. So Tamir Glenn will trigger the inbound. And we'll see how the Bruins deal with the athleticism that they're likely to see out of this Virginia State team. Talking off the air about some of the differences between a team like the Bruins sitting at the NAIA/NCAA Division III level and a team like this Virginia State group at the NCAA D2 level, and how quickly and stark the difference can be athletically. We'll see how the Bruins deal with that as this game moves along. Certainly playing with a lot of confidence after Saturday's win over Pfeiffer. We'll see how they handle it in the early going as the Bruins out front with 14 on the shot clock. Tamir Glenn with a step-back 3, hits off the front of the rim. Up big for the rebound for a moment was China Jones, couldn't pull it in, and the rebound taken away by the Trojans, who want to run back the other direction. Jackson moves it to the far side of the floor for Wiggins, back for Jackson, and now Virginia State will slow things down. And that's going to be a key to this game as the Bruins drop back into a 2-3 zone to open things up. It's about trying to force this Trojans team into something of a half-court offense. Don't let that speed and athleticism be as big a factor if you can do that. Down low inside along the baseline, nice little up and under move, wouldn't stay down for Melvin, and the rebound taken away by the Bruins. Out in front with the basketball is China Jones, moves it into the forecourt. Scoop up and under, no good. Offensive rebound, and the putback is blocked from behind. Inside by Melvin. Pulled away, though, underneath the basket by Jones again. Kicks it back up top, and open 3 on the way. Bounces halfway down and out. Another offensive rebound by Tamir Glenn and the Bruins. And then Glenn whistled for a travel as he tried a little hop step in the lane that time. And it'll be a turnover. We'll go back over to the Trojans with 18:53 left to play in this opening half. Still no score, and the Bruins now will employ a little bit of a lazy 1-2-2 half-court trap. And now we'll retreat back as the Trojans able to get it across the midcourt stripe. Wiggins at the top, fires an open 3 and rattles it through. So Cedric Wiggins breaks the ice, the 5'9" senior for this Trojans team, running the point guard spot. As the Bruins now side to side against the full court pressure from the Trojans. Tamir Glenn moves it into the hands of Morris, back to the top for Colton Bishop. Malik Morris had a monster game on Saturday in the win over Pfeiffer, putting up 30-plus points, including 17 of 18 at the free throw line. Bruins will need a similar effort out of him if they're going to find a way to win this game, as China Jones into the lane, little up and under, wouldn't go down, and the rebound taken away by Howes and the Trojans, who want to push back the other direction. Jackson with the left-hand dribble across the free throw line. Nobody picks him up. Comes to the near side for Wiggins, back to the top for Jackson. Man-to-man defense on this trip for the Bruins as Jackson lobs it into the corner, near side for Wiggins. Wiggins down on the low block on the baseline as Howes turns around, faces up and drives it inside, draws contact, no whistle, hits it off the side of the glass, and the rebound taken away by the Bruins. Back in the other direction comes Kendall Oliver. Oliver trying to lay it down for Jones, lost the basketball, stolen away, and a run out back the other way, and a dunk for Jameer Howes. So 5-0 in the early going in favor of the Trojans. Bruins trying to answer quickly as they get numbers back down the other direction. Not able to get a shot out of it was Morris, though, as he couldn't handle the pass inside underneath the basket. Now the Bruins will have to pull it out and reset. Colton Bishop with the basketball on the far wing to the top for Jones. Now finds Morris around the screen, drives it inside, right-hand layup, wouldn't stay down, and the rebound taken away by the Trojans. Everything difficult right now for the Bruins. Not able to get a clean look at the basket as in transition. Three-pointer on the way is no good for Jackson. The rebound knocked out of bounds, last touch off of the Trojans. And the Bruins will get it back, still looking for their first points, trailing 4-0 as that three-pointer by Wiggins that we called earlier was actually a two-pointer. 17:03 left to play in this opening half. Both sides sticking with their starting five through this opening trip as the Bruins turn it over again right at the midcourt stripe. Nice little crossover move by Jackson, who lays it in with the right hand, and it's 6-0. Colton Bishop trying to direct some traffic for the Bruins. Moves it across the timeline for Tamir Glenn. Now back to Bishop, and Virginia State will drop back into their man-to-man defense on this trip with 16:40 left to play in this first half. Bruins having a lot of trouble finding open passing lanes right now. Handing it off is Morris. Morris from the far wing pulls up for three, hits off the back of the rim. Rebound tapped up for a moment by Jones, but it's pulled down by the Trojans. Back in transition, the Trojans looking for another three. This one hits off the back of the rim, no good by Melvin, and Colton Bishop clears the rebound for the Bruins. Bishop with the lead-ahead pass for Tamir Glenn on the far wing. Good little step back, clears some space for a three and knocks it down. Tamir Glenn. Crowd likes that as Tamir Glenn with the little highlight reel step back finds the three. Now the crowd looking for some defense as they get excited for the first time tonight. Driving it inside is Jackson, kicks it outside for Wiggins. 14 on the shot clock, onto the baseline. Open underneath was Howes, got a man up in the air, lay it up, score it, and a foul. So they'll count the basket, which will make it 8-3. And Howes will get one more at the free throw line. Kind of an awkward free throw stance, standing to the left of the lane, but works for him as he knocks down the free throw. So 9-3 in favor of the Trojans in the early going. Still 15:45 left to play in this first half as Tamir Glenn nearly lost the basketball, now throws it away, but it comes right back to Glenn, and now the Bruins with numbers back down the other direction, and an easy layup for Justin Poythress, who just checked back in. 9-5 as the Bruins with back-to-back hoops on back-to-back trips. Underneath again, behind this zone defense is Howes as the Bruins losing track of the big Jameer Howes. Third field goal for him already. He's got 7 in the game, and the lead is 6 for the Trojans at 11-5. Tamir Glenn with the basketball out front to the top for Colton Bishop. And you see the struggles for the Bruins in this half-court offense, trying to get good looks against this Trojans team, and a big part of the reason for that is the length of this Trojans team. A lot of size on the floor for them, including Howes, who sits at 6'6". Armin Grebe at 6'7". This is a big basketball team for the NCAA D2 level. As Colton Bishop behind a screen fires a three from straight away. It's well short, and the rebound taken away by the Trojans. Jackson up the floor, got it poked away from behind by Glenn. Now the Bruins have numbers, 3-on-2. Driving down the lane, but lost the basketball. Did Oliver as he got it poked out of his hands, and then was the last to touch it. So another turnover gives the ball back to the Trojans. 14:57 left to play in this first half. We'll get a couple of substitutions for the first time for the Trojans. Luol Daniel Rahama checks in for the very first time, as does William Vetter, another of these big bodies for the Trojans, standing 6'9". By far the biggest player on the floor. Wiggins and Grebe side to side onto the far wing for Melvin. Into the paint, ball stolen away from Grebe. Taken away by Tamir Glenn. No numbers, but Glenn decides to attack anyway. Lays it up a little bit short off the front of the rim. And the rebound taken away by the Trojans, who still lead this one 11-5. Trojans trying to run back the other way as Wiggins trying to get into the lane. Bruins do a good job getting back defensively. And so the Trojans forced to set up in a half-court offense. Pulling up for the baseline is Rahama, who knocks in the 12-footer. His first basket off the bench makes it 13-5. As Colton Bishop barks out instructions for his team, trailing by 8 in the early going. 14:15 left to play in this first half. To the top for Tamir Glenn. Glenn with the step back. This time Rahama stays with him. And now Glenn behind another screen. This one from Poythress. Gets it back to Poythress on the roll. Got his man up in the air and banks it in. Good smart play by Justin Poythress, rolling to the basket after he set the screen and then getting his man in the air. And then banks it in for his second basket of the game off the bench for this Bruins team at 13-7 now. Trojans out in front and with the basketball as Wiggins on the near wing with 16 on the shot clock. Comes back to the top for Vetter. Now onto the baseline, far side, open jumper on the way for Melvin is no good, and the Bruins good position for the rebound and take it away. Chance to get a little bit closer as Bishop pushes it in transition, left-hand dribble all the way to the rim, lay it up, no, but a foul. Good job by Colton Bishop that time, kept the Virginia State defense a little bit off balance as he got himself to the rim, and he'll shoot a pair. When you start looking at ways that the Bruins are going to have to find to get this done tonight, it's going to start with guys like Colton Bishop, who have played at this NCAA Division II level before and know what the expectation is and know what it takes to play at this level, and they're going to need his leadership as a senior to lead some of these younger guys like Malik Morris and Justin Poitras. Curtis Coleman checking in for the first time for the Bruins, as is Robert Parks. Haishim Weston into the game for the first time as well, so the Bruins make a couple of substitutions. Second free throw for Bishop is up and through. So Bishop makes both and cuts the deficit to 4 at 13-9. Andrew Corum into the game for the very first time for the Trojans, wearing number 25 in blue. As the Trojans break the Bruins' full court pressure, and now the Bruins drop back into their 2-3 zone. Skip pass to the near side for Rahama. Rahama looking for help and moves it to the top for Vetter. Underneath into the hands of Corum, back outside Rahama. A 3 on the way is good. Lawal Daniel Rahama, the 6'3 sophomore, makes his second basket of the night. It's a 3, and it's 16-9 with 13 minutes even left to play in the first half. Bishop out directing traffic, slowing things down a little bit for this Bruins team. Double screen at the top. Bishop uses it to the left. Now reverse the ball to the far side of the floor into the hands of Coleman. Coleman onto the baseline. Good drive inside by Poitras. Kicks it into the corner, near side. Bishop, a 3 is up and through. Colton Bishop with his first made field goal of the night cuts the deficit to 4 again at 16-12 as the Bruin crowd here in Winston-Salem looks for a little defense. Trojans move the ball well against the zone. Fire an open 3. Does Wiggins and knocks it down. Bruins did a pretty good job moving their feet that time defensively. Wiggins just made a good shot. 19-12 with 12:17 to play in the half. Bishop out front uses the screen from Poitras to the near wing, down back to the top into the hands of Parks. Parks with a left-hand dribble around the screen from Bishop, picks up his dribble in the corner, kicks it up top, an open 3 on the way, hits off the back of the rim and then off the basket stanchion as well, and that's going to go for a turnover as Weston hit that ball hard off the back of the rim. Colton Bishop will take a seat, and Antoine Robinson will check in for the very first time tonight for the Bruins. And now the Bruins, you can see the size differential really play out now as the Bruins have 4 players out there at 6'2 or shorter compared to the serious height advantage for this Trojans team, as Rahama pulls up from 16 and knocks it down from the near wing. Well, Daniel Rahama off the bench with 7 quick points. 21-12, largest lead of the game for the Trojans. 11:40 to play in the half. Parks nearly got the ball taken away, but manages to maintain possession around the double screen on the far wing to the top for Robinson. Robinson now will use the screen from Coleman to the near wing, back to the top for Coleman. Coleman trying to shake the defense from Rahama, nowhere to go. Now he's going to pull up inside the 3-point line with the shot clock sitting at 5. Robinson's got to do something with it. Step back 3 on the way, catches nothing but air, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. A terrific defensive trip for the Trojans. And again, you see the size and the athleticism for this Trojans team really impacting that offensive trip for the Bruins, who never really got the ball inside the 3-point line. Trojans quickly break the Bruin pressure. Spin move into the lane for Jackson, onto the baseline for Vetter, back to the top, now to the near side, Rahama, who's been hot early. Rahama comes near side on the wing for Jackson, fires another 3 and knocks it down. Does Jalen Jackson. Trojans have come in here and quieted this boisterous Bruin crowd, and now are doubling up the Bruins at 24-12. 10:50 left to play in this opening half. Parks with the basketball, long way from the hoop to the top for Poitras. Poitras into the hands of Coleman. Coleman uses the screen from Poitras, pulls up at the free throw line. Jumpers to the left of the rim. And the rebound taken away by the Trojans. Jackson at the top for Corum. Corum onto the baseline. Jumper on the way from the baseline is no good. An air ball and a weak side rebound to the Bruins. Vetter with the missed shot. Coleman back the other way up the far side of the floor. Pulls up from 12. It rattles halfway down and out, and the rebound taken away by Virginia State. Rahama to the far side for Owens. Owens back into the hands of Corum. Corum near side for Jackson. Tried to split the double team. Heads to reverse the ball to the far side again for Owens. Onto the baseline, low block for Vetter. Vetter back to the top for Jackson. Down to 10 on the shot clock as the Trojans now will need to get into their offense. Ball was deflected in the lane, comes right down underneath the basket to Vetter. Vetter with the short jumper, no. And the rebound taken away by the Bruins. Good defensive trip that time, kept everything in front of them. Antoine Robinson with a good job to save that long pass. Moves it into the hands of Parks, drives the lane. Left-handed layup, might have been deflected. Rebound, picks up his own rebound as Parks now comes back to the top with a fresh shot clock, and the Bruins will call timeout. Coach Howard not happy with the shot selection right now for his Bruins. It'll be a full timeout, so we'll take it as well with 9:38 left to play in this opening half. Virginia State on top, 24-12, and we'll be back after this on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Back at courtside at the Pope Activity Center in Winston-Salem with the Trojans from Virginia State on top 24-12 as we take a look at some of the early scoring numbers. Luol Daniel Rahama and Jameer Howes both leading the way with 7 points for this Trojans team. Only 2 players for the Bruins with more than 1 basket right now. It's Colton Bishop leading the way with 5 and Justin Poitras with 4. And you can see 2 of the players that really belong on the floor right now for the Bruins. Poitras and Bishop both really look like they belong out there. The rest of the Bruins still kind of feeling their way out right now. As Antoine Robinson with the basketball at the top goes around the screen from Poitras. Dribbles onto the baseline, nowhere to go, and so he brings it back to the top for Coleman. Coleman with the left-hand dribble around the double screen on the wing. Skip pass to the far side in the hands of Weston. Weston with a good little hop step. Jumper hits off the back of the rim and then off the side of the rim. And the rebound taken away by the Trojans. Good trip offensively, just didn't finish it that time for the Bruins. As back the other way, the Trojans looking to add to this lead is Jackson with a right-hand dribble. Puts it up off the window, a little bit too soft. And the rebound taken away by Parks for the Bruins. Bruins want to run back the other way as Robinson comes to the top for Parks. Parks being watched by Jackson around the screen at the top from Weston for Poitras. Now to Coleman. Coleman at the free throw line got his shot blocked, and the loose ball being chased down by the Trojans, and his shot gets blocked as Howes. Coleman back into the play, but then Howes with a good no-look pass inside for Corum, and Corum lays it in. Good job by Coleman just to get back into that play and deny the first shot opportunity, but the Trojans stick with it, and Corum picks up the basket. 8:28 left to play in this first half, 26-12 in favor of Virginia State. Right at the free throw line, Robinson with the jumper, hits hard off the back of the rim, and the rebound taken away by the Trojans. Trojans want to run back the other way. Jackson behind the back dribble to the near side for Holly into the game for the first time. Holly gets it back and now moves it for Jackson at the top. Back to Holly. This time he'll fire the three and knock it in. And it's going to be awfully tough for the Bruins to hang around if, in addition to being the bigger, faster, stronger team in this game, the Virginia State's going to shoot the ball well. That's their 4th made 3 already, and they lead by 17 now at 29-12. Coleman with a left-hand dribble, gets all the way to the rim and lays it in with the left hand. Defensive breakdown that time for the Trojans. Just let Coleman get all the way to the rim before anybody noticed. Back the other way for the Trojans. 3-pointer on the way, hits off the back of the rim for Phillip Owens, who's in the game for the first time. Expect to see the Trojans dig deep into their bench as this game goes along. Parks, good drive, kicks it outside. An open 3 on the way for Robinson. Skims off the back of the rim, but Parks in the right spot for the rebound. Turns around and drives through the lane, hands it off for Robinson on the baseline for Poitras. Poitras with a good up and under, a little bit too strong though on the shot attempt, and the rebound taken away by Virginia State. They'll slow things down a little bit now with Phillip Owens running the point guard spot. The 6-foot senior out on the far wing. Now moves to the top against this 2-3 zone for the Bruins. Actually a little bit of a man-to-man look this time for the Bruins in the far corner. An open 3 for Holly. his second made three right off the bench. And again, the Trojans come in here shooting the lights out right now, leading at 32-14. Still 6:45 left to play in this first half. Coleman with the basketball out front, goes away from the double screen in the lane, got the ball poked away and stolen. Trojans with numbers back the other way as Holly off the window with the right hand and lays it in. Nice feed inside by Corum that time, who led the break. And again, very quickly, 8 first half points off the bench for Holly. So the Trojans getting it done 1 through 12 right now, and have gotten a lot of production off their bench in this first half. Robinson to the top, Poitras for Coleman along the baseline, shut off there, and now has to pick up his dribble. Gets it back from Poitras to reset things. Down to 8 on the shot clock. Pull-up jumper from 18 off to the side, no good, and the rebound taken away by the Trojans. Phillip Owens with the basketball into the lane for Howes, drives the lane, got pushed to the ground, going up for that layup, and he'll go to the free throw line as Justin Poitras picking up his first foul. Jameer Howes, who started this game very emphatically with 7 quick points before going to the bench, will get an opportunity to add to his total with 2 free throws. And you can see the frustration for the Bruins, and this was going to be a learning experience one way or the other for this team, playing against a very high-level opponent. Mass substitutions for the Bruins as Bishop and China Jones both return, along with Kendall Oliver and Tamir Glenn. Malik Morris also into the game. Second free throw on the way for Howes is up and through. So Howes makes both and now has 9 points in the game to lead all scorers. 36-14 in favor of Virginia State. Tamir Glenn a little trouble with the dribble, picks it up to the top. Into the hands of Oliver. Now for Bishop behind the screen, fires a 3. It's off to the right, and the rebound tapped around. Comes down to the hands of Glenn, who got a shot blocked. Good job by Glenn, the smallest player on the floor, sticking his nose in for that offensive rebound, but not able to get it up over the outstretched arms of Jalen Jackson. Quickly, though, the Bruins get the ball inbound. Three-pointer from the far corner is no good for China Jones, and this time the Trojans clear the board. Jalen Jackson with a left-hand dribble gets into the lane. A little no-look pass underneath for Grebe, and then Grebe gets his shot swatted off the window. Grebe got his own miss back, missed it again. Third time tapped up, no good, and this time the ball is out of bounds. Last touch off the Bruins. Grebe will trigger the inbound on the baseline off to the right of the basket. Grebe into the corner for Holly, now back to the top for Owens. Reverse the ball for Jackson, back up top for Owens. Owens into the hands of Holly again. Right of the lane this time. Nice spin move into the lane for Howes. Howes with a reverse layup, lay it up and in. Jameer Howes has been the show thus far for the Trojans, has 11 first half points, and the lead is 24, 38-14. Under 5 to play in this first half. Tamir Glenn with a left-hand dribble, being harassed out front by Jackson. Goes with the crossover dribble again, gets into the lane, scoop shot off the window and in. Good individual effort by Tamir Glenn, now with 5 first half points. Put Jalen Jackson on roller skates for the second time in this first half. Bruins still a long way to go, though, if they want to climb back into the ball game. Far side, another open 3 on the way for Holly is good. His third made three-pointer of the half. He's got 11. 41-16, back the other direction. China Jones hangs in the air, tried to bank it in off the window, thought he was pushed on the way by. No whistle. Trojans with numbers back the other way. Up in the air, scored, and a foul. Jameer Howes. So Jameer Howes with a very impressive finish, getting up underneath the contact and able to lay it in off the window. Extends the lead to 43-16. Ciante Melvin back into the game for the Trojans, along with Luol Daniel Rahama. Free throw on the way, trying to complete the old-fashioned three-point play, and does for Howes, who now has 14 first-half points, and the lead is 28. 44-16 the score, with 4:10 left to play in this first half. Colton Bishop drives inside, little floater, tried to bank it off the window, no good. Rebound battled for, thrown into no man's land, but the Trojans able to come up with it. Back in the other direction, all the way to the rim goes Wiggins. Wiggins scoops it up and in. Cedric Wiggins now with 7. 46-16. John Jones on the baseline, driving it inside. Stepped on the baseline, though, I believe. Did Jones. On the good feed for Morris. Dustin Poitras back into the game for the Bruins. Trojans will make a sub also as William Vetter returns. Out front with the basketball is Wiggins. Near side for Melvin. Melvin with a skip pass to the far side for Wiggins, who nearly lost the basketball out of bounds. Instead finds Rahama onto the baseline for Grebe. Reverse the ball again for Rahama. Up fakes his man, drives right around Morris and puts up the jumper from 15 and knocks it in. Lawal Daniel Rahama has been very, very impressive off the bench now with 9 first-half points for the Trojans, and they lead at 48-16 with still 3 minutes left to play in this first half. Bishop around the double screen at the top. Into the hands of Oliver. Oliver kicks it into the corner. An open 3 on the way for Morris is up and through. So Malik Morris with his first basket after a big game on Saturday against Pfeiffer. We told you Morris, 35 points in the win over the Falcons. Gets his first 3. 48-19 our score as the Trojans back the other way. Thought about the long 3, did Wiggins. Drives it into the free throw line. Nice shovel pass up underneath the cutting Melvin along the baseline, and Melvin lays it in. First basket of the game for the 6'3 senior, Ciante Melvin, 50-19. 2:27 left to play in this first half. Driving it inside is Oliver. Oliver gets bumped and fouled and lays it in. Good strong move by Kendall Oliver. First basket of the game for Oliver in his first year with the Bruins. Good strong finish that time as he fought off the contact from Armin Grebe. Oliver with the chance to complete the three-point play and pull the Bruins a little closer as we approach halftime with 2:20 left to play in this opening half. Free throw on the way is good for Oliver, the 6'3 junior. Now with 3 in the game. 50-22 our score with the clock running. 2:15 left to play in the opening half. Bruins continue to sit in this zone defense. Along the baseline underneath the hoop is Grebe. Got one man in the air, and then with the left-handed hook shot, drops it in over the rim for his first basket. Everyone who has played has now scored for the Trojans with the exception of Phillip Owens. Ball deflected by Morris. Morris trying to get it back in a scramble for the ball with Grebe. Grebe comes down on top of Morris and will be whistled for the foul. So the Trojans will get it back. An unforced error in frustration. You saw Morris slap the floor. The Bruins have had a couple of those, but it's been that kind of first half so far. 52-22, 1:50 left to play. Far side of the floor, Ciante Melvin. And now for Wiggins. Wiggins to the free throw line extended area by Vetter, who puts his head down, drives the lane, and lays it in. Good strong drive by William Vetter. First basket of the game for him, 54-22. 1:30 left to play in this first half. Colton Bishop into the hands of Morris behind the screen from Poitras. Got his man up in the air, reverse layup, got swatted off the glass, and the rebound taken away on the weak side by the Trojans. Wiggins with a crossover in the lane just inside the free throw line. Jumper is no good. Rahama with the rebound, and the Trojans a fresh shot clock. No look pass onto the baseline for Melvin. Melvin all the way to the rim, left the layup a little short, and the rebound taken away by Tamir Glenn. Glenn back the other way, pulls up, thought about the 3, instead finds Morris for 3, and knocks it down, does Malik Morris. Second 3 in the last couple of trips for Morris, who has 6 of the game, 54-25, with under a minute to play in this first half. Wiggins to the near side, Rahama back for Wiggins. Side to side against this zone defense. Melvin to the free throw line, extended area for Vetter, left of the lane. Back to the top, Wiggins behind the back dribble. Nice no-look pass underneath and a two-handed jam for Armin Grebe. And then after the play, whistle and a stoppage as Grebe and Malik Morris got tangled up, and it'll be a pushing foul against Grebe. So the Bruins will have it. 56-25, still 26 seconds left to play in the half, so the shot clock is off, and the Bruins will play for the final shot of this half. Tamir Glenn out front, and the Bruins will play for one shot. Looking to go into the halftime locker room with a bucket, as Tamir Glenn shut off trying to drive the lane, crosses over with the left hand, still doing a lot of dribbling, gets rid of it to Bishop, who cuts along the lane, and Bishop hung in the air, gets bailed out as he gets bumped to the ground. He was kind of in no man's land up among the trees that time, draws contact though, and Colton Bishop will get himself to the free throw line. Bishop with 5 first half points. Still 3.8 on the game clock. First free throw on the way, rolls out for Bishop. Made 2 of 2 in his previous trip. Still has 1 more to come. Second free throw on the way, something good. So Bishop with 6 first half points. Trojans will get one final opportunity at this. Up the far side is Melvin. Melvin into the lane, lost the basketball, and that'll be the end of the first half. Virginia State, as advertised in this first half, they lead at 56-26. 2 players in double figures for them. And the Bruins with a lot of work to do over the final 20 minutes as they try to dig their way out of a 30-point hole at the half. So 56-26 is our score. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll have our halftime coverage as we take a look at some of the first half numbers and also some second half keys to the game coming up after this. You're listening to Bruins basketball on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Back courtside at the Pope Activity Center, halftime in Winston-Salem, where Virginia State, as advertised over the first 20 minutes of tonight's game, they have a 56-26 lead over the Bruins. Dave Shook with you here at courtside. Erica Washburn, our producer engineer, and Mason Cox as well is at large this evening, but is around and in my ear constantly. But take a look at some of the first half numbers from today's game, including the Trojans, who have 2 players in double figures, including Jameer House, who was the show in that first half, the 6'6 senior, finishing with 14 points over the opening 20 minutes. Brandon Holly also in double figures with 11 points off the bench. Lawal Daniel Rahama, part of a very solid bench effort for this Trojans team in the first 20 minutes, has 9 first half points. Cedric Wiggins also with 7. And then a couple of players with other points in the scorebook. Jalen Jackson finishing with 5 first half points. Armin Grieb with 4. And then 2 points apiece for William Vetter, Andrew Corcoran, and Ciante Melvin. So that's a look at the scoring for the Trojans. On the other side for the Bruins, the leading scorer in the ball game, both with 6 points, it's Malik Morris and Colton Bishop. Also in the scorebook right now, Tamir Glenn with 5 first half points, Justin Poitras with 4, Kendall Oliver with 3 points, and then 2 points for Curtis Coleman to round out the scoring in the first half for the Bruins. So again, 56-26 is our score. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we will have the second half between the Bruins and the Trojans. Bruins a lot of work to do. We'll see if they can build on some of the experience, some of what they learned in that first half coming up after this as we continue with our halftime coverage on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Salem getting set for the start of the second half between the Bruins and the Trojans from Virginia State University, an NCAA D2 school. Big opportunity for the Bruins tonight for the very first time in program history, welcoming a NCAA Division II school into this building. And coming just 3 days after the Bruins picked up maybe their first, or maybe their biggest win in program history when they knocked off NCAA Division III school Pfeiffer down in Meck County over the weekend on Saturday behind a monster performance from Malik Morris, who finished with 35 points in the game, including 17 of 18 at the free throw line. Morris with 6 points in the first half here tonight. It's been a different animal, though, against this Trojans team here tonight. We'll see how the Bruins respond, trailing by 30 at 56-26. I'd like to see the Bruins put a little bit of a dent in that and just continue to play hard and learn from the experience here tonight, playing against a high-level opponent. And that's what these games are often about for teams like Piedmont. It's about getting better and seeing what it's like to play at that top level. As a little step-back three opens the half for Cedric Wiggins on that far wing, as the Trojans in the road blues, trimmed in the white and orange, moving from right to left. The Bruins in the home whites, trimmed in the powder blue and gray, moving from left to right. This is Colton Bishop standing at the Bruins midcourt logo on the far side of the floor for Tamir Glenn on the wing. Goes away from the screen from Oliver, now comes with it, and on the baseline, good cut by Colton Bishop, and up with the reverse layup, up and in. 8 points in the game for Bishop, leading scorer in the game for the Bruins. 59-28 is the score. Trojans with the basketball and a 31-point lead. Wiggins another three. This one hits off the front of the rim. Loose ball, caroms all the way up beyond the three-point line. Tamir Glenn finds the basketball. Now the Bruins have numbers back the other way, driving it inside. Nice little shovel pass, but it's knocked away, as Oliver that time tried to get a little bit too cute with it, trying to find Malik Morris under the basket. Back the other way for the Trojans, get all the way up and in. With the up and under layup goes Cedric Wiggins. Lays it up and in, 61-28. Wiggins with the first 5 points of the half for the Trojans. As the Bruins now back the other way, Tamir Glenn at the top for Oliver. Oliver will fire a contested three from straight on, hits off the front of the rim. China Jones was up there for the rebound. Couldn't knock it in, though, and the rebound taken away by the Trojans, who miss a layup back in transition by Grebe. Ball tapped out of bounds, last touch off the Trojans, and the Bruins will get it back. 61-28 is our score. Bishop out front with the basketball with a left-hand dribble. Uses the screen from Oliver to the top for Poitras in the starting lineup to start the second half. Lost the basketball to Tamir Glenn, stolen away by Howes. Howes goes in right against Glenn. Glenn knocks the ball away, though. Nice job tracking back defensively by Tamir Glenn. Knocks it out of bounds. Trojans will keep the basketball with 27 on the shot clock. 18:04 on the game clock in this second half. Howes underneath the basket against the double team. Little fall away, comes up with nothing but air, and the rebound taken away by Bishop. Bishop and the Bruins back the other way. Bishop left-hand layup all the way up and through. Good job by Colton Bishop. Goes coast to coast off the miss jumper that time by Howes. 61-30. 17:45 left to play in the ball game. Jalen Jackson with the basketball out front. Free throw line area for Howes. Howes waiting for help, finds Wiggins on the near wing, trying to get it down low. Bad entry pass and stolen away by the Bruins. Tamir Glenn comes up with the loose ball. Glenn to the far side for Bishop, drives it all the way inside, hangs in the air, a little bit too strong off the window, and the rebound taken away by Grebe. Grebe leads it out ahead for Wiggins. Wiggins, no-look pass underneath for Jackson. Jackson misses the layup, and the rebound taken away by the Bruins. A little bit sloppy for the Trojans to start this second half. Bruins trying to get a little bit closer, as driving it inside is Oliver. And Oliver gets bumped from behind. So the Bruins with a little bit more focus in this start of the second half, and the Trojans with a little bit less focus. They're going to put Oliver at the free throw line. I'm a little bit surprised, or at least, no, they're not. Okay, that's what I thought. Oliver was not in the act of shooting. He was in the act of passing at the time, and so will not be rewarded with the 2 free throws. Bishop will trigger the inbound on the baseline, far side of the floor. Lobs it up for Tamir Glenn. 61-30 as Bishop gets it right back from Glenn. Thought about the three, instead comes back up top for Glenn. Glenn trying to go with the crossover dribble, but lost his footing, able to save the possession. Shot clock at 20. And so the Bruins will slow things down as Glenn uses the screen from Poitras, pulls up behind it, launches a three, comes up with nothing but air, and the rebound taken away by the Trojans. Bruins swatting at that loose ball, but Jackson able to maintain the dribble for Virginia State. Goes with the crossover, pulls up for three, hits off the front of the rim. Rebound, nice job by Tamir Glenn, took it away, but then lost it out of bounds on the sideline. I like the effort by Tamir Glenn, sticking with that rebound. Again, one of the smallest players on the floor right now. Listed at 6 feet, but I think that's a little generous. Curtis Coleman back into the game for the Bruins for the first time in this second half. Melvin will trigger the inbound deep in the corner on the far side of the floor, having a little trouble getting it in, finally does. Into the hands of Howes, drives the baseline, reverse layup, lays it in. Jameer Howes, 16 in the game to lead all scorers, 63-30. Trojans out in front with the basketball. Bruins with the basketball, rather, is nearly poked away from behind. Bishop able to save the basketball. It was deflected into the backcourt as Jackson continues to hound Bruin ball handlers. Nice no-look pass on the baseline to a cutting Tamir Glenn on the baseline. And Tamir Glenn now with 7 in the ball game. Back the other direction. Wiggins, nice little drop off underneath for Howes, and Howes lays it in. 65-32 as we go back and forth. Under 16 minutes to play in this for second half. Tamir Glenn, left-hand dribble. Good acceleration and a good head of steam into the lane. Gets all the way to the rim, can't finish the layup, but it's fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line for a pair. Hashim Weston, China Jones, waiting to get back in. So 2 at the line for Glenn. First free throw is up and through. First trip to the line for the junior Glenn. Oliver and Poitras will get a seat. Weston and Jones back in. Second free throw is good for Tamir. 9 in the game for Glenn. Aiming to be the second Bruin player into double-figure scoring. 65-34 the score. Entry pass in low for Howes. Skips it to the near side. Open 3 for Wiggins on the way is up and through. Just did crawl over the front of the rim for Cedric Wiggins. He has 8 points in the second half already, 15 in the game. Second leading scorer for the Trojans. Tamir Glenn with the basketball out front, working against Jackson. Spins his way into the lane, comes near side for Coleman for 3. It bounces out. Rebound taken away, and putback is up and no good for China Jones, and the rebound taken away by the Trojans. Back the other direction, inside for Grebe. Grebe catches it underneath the hoop and then is fouled to prevent the layup. And they'll send Grebe to the free throw line. So Grebe will get a pair. The 6'7" junior for this Trojans team. We'll get a substitution as well with Brandon Holly and Phillip Owens waiting to get in. Holly was very productive off the bench in the first half with 11 points. First free throw for Grebe hits hard off the back of the rim. Jackson and Wiggins will sit. Second free throw on the way for the junior is good. 5 in the game for Grebe, 69-34 in favor of the Trojans. Tamir Glenn around the double screen at the top, finds Bishop. Far side of the floor for Weston. Weston calls for the screen from Bishop. Bishop tries to slip it and move it to the far side for China Jones, spinning his way into the lane, but lost the basketball underneath the hoop. Ball goes out of bounds back over to the Trojans. Get a substitution as Lual Daniel Rahama checks back in for the Trojans for the first time in the second half. Replacing Ciante Melvin. Tamir Glenn and Colton Bishop also take a seat for the Bruins. Parks and Robinson back in. Trojans with the basketball in the corner, now onto the baseline, down low for Grebe. Grebe in no man's land, comes back to the top for Owens, to the far side for Rahama. Rahama on that far wing. Entry pass along the baseline for Howes. Howes trying to back his way in, spins to the baseline. Layup is good with 1 on the shot clock. Good strong post move that time by Jameer Howes. Working against China Jones, able to lay it in, 71-34. Back the other direction as Coleman draws contact, lays it in with the foul. Good strong move by Curtis Coleman, who has shown that ability this season at times to be able to get himself to the rim and absorb contact. and finish through it. And now Curtis Coleman with his second bucket of the night will get an opportunity to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. More substitutions for the Trojans. William Vetter back into the game, as is Andrew Corum. Grebe and Howes take a seat, maybe for the final time tonight, with 14:09 left to play. Free throws off the mark for Coleman, and the rebound taken away by the Trojans. Bruins will get a little bit more aggressive defensively with a little three-quarter court trap. Trojans no trouble breaking as Rahama gets all the way to the rim. A couple of long strides to get himself to the bucket. And a reach-in foul. It's going to go against Parks and the Bruins. And we'll see if they give Rahama two. They will, saying that he went into the act of shooting, so it'll be Rahama at the line for a pair. Rahama, who we mentioned, was very, very impressive in that first half for the Trojans off the bench with 9 first-half points. Chance to become the 4th Trojan player in double figures, but misses the first free throw off to the left. One more at the line for Rahama. Second free throw is good. Rahama 1 of 2 at the stripe, now with 10 points in the game, 72-36. Trojans doubling up the Bruins, just under 14 minutes left to play in the ball game. It's been all Trojans pretty much from the start in this one. Coleman on the far wing with the basketball, matched up with Rahama, tries to spin his way into the paint, pulls up from the free throw line, misses the jumper, but is fouled as Rahama got up underneath him a little bit. So Rahama guilty of the foul, and Curtis Coleman back to the line where he missed one a moment ago. He'll get 2 this time. First free throw is good. Coleman, Weston, Jones, Parks, and Robinson on the floor for the Bruins. Second free throw is good for Coleman. 6 in the game for him, 72-38, as then the Trojans throw it away right off the inbounds pass thanks to that three-quarter court trap for the Bruins. Back the other direction, Antoine Robinson thought about trying to drive it inside. Instead, we'll bring it back to the top and reset things beyond the volleyball line for the Bruins. Parks on the near wing with the basketball, matched up with Holly. Around the screen from Weston to the far side, Coleman. Up fakes the three, gets to the rim, draws a blocking foul, and right back to the free throw line is going to go Coleman. Just as we were lauding him a moment ago for his ability to get to the free throw line via the strong drives, getting to the basket and absorbing contact. You see it right there. Coleman absorbing contact, not able to finish it that time, but will get himself 2 more at the stripe. He's 2 of 3 in the second half already at the line. First free throw on the way is good. So Coleman having himself a nice second half off the bench, now up to 7 points in the game. Only one Bruin player in double figures right now. That's Colton Bishop, who's on the bench with 10. Second free throw pops out. Rebound taken away by the Trojans. Bruins again with some three-quarter court trap. This time the Trojans able to break it. Holly drives it inside the three-point line and then tries the skip pass, and it's taken away by who else? Curtis Coleman. Coleman pulls up at the free throw line to the top into the hands of Parks. Parks all the way to the rim, lays it down underneath. Went up for the dunk to China Jones, but lost the basketball going up. And the rebound taken away on the weak side by the Trojans. Would have been a spectacular finish off a terrific pass by Parks. Trojans back the other way, looking to answer with a 3. Skips off the back of the rim by Holly, though, and the rebound taken away by the Bruins. Bruins back the other direction, looking to get a little closer as Antoine Robinson. Crossover dribble, tries to step around his defender, throws it up wildly, hits off the front of the rim. Rebound taken away by Vetter. Trojans with a basketball. Phillip Owens to the near side, Rahama. Back to the top for Owens. Still in this zone defense are the Bruins, as they've been for most of the night. Holly back into the hands of Owens. Back to Holly, looking for another 3. Knock it down. Brandon Holly, who made 3 three-pointers in the first half, now has 4, and he has 14 points on the night. Trying another 3 is Curtis Coleman. That one rattles out and rattles back in for Curtis Coleman. Curtis Coleman with the made 3 that time for the Bruins. Back the other way, the Trojans looking for another one. It's Brandon Holly with his 5th made 3 of the night. Brandon Holly now with 17 points in the game. What a night Brandon Holly has had. Coming off the bench for this Bruins team is Coleman with the pull-up from the baseline. It rolls out, and the rebound taken away by Corum and the Trojans. Spin around the defense of Owens. Owens drives it for Rahama on the baseline. Rahama is going to be whistled. Oh, I thought they were going to give him for a charge. Instead, it'll be a blocking foul against China Jones. Bruin crowd incredulous. Also your word of the day, incredulous. Look it up. 78-42. As the Bruins will make a couple of substitutions. Kendall Oliver back into the game. Justin Poitras and China Jones will stay out there. Owens to the high post area. Nice little touch pass inside underneath the basket. And a foul underneath. There's Azarius Sykes into the game for the very first time. Gets a quick touch. And Azarius Sykes will be at the free throw line. Did not play in the first half, did Sykes. But we'll get an opportunity to put some points on the board. 78-42 with 11:16 left to play in this ball game. First free throw hits hard off to the left. Second free throw on the way for Sykes. That little herky-jerky motion misses both to Sykes. And the rebound taken away by the Bruins. Antoine Robinson back the other direction with a right-hand dribble. Picked up by Holly. Man-to-man defense for the Trojans. Robinson to the near side for Coleman, who's had a nice second half. Coleman across the free throw line, outside for Oliver. Oliver with a good first step, gets all the way to the rim and draws a foul. Good strong move that time by Kendall Oliver. Good quick first step, able to get himself by the initial defender and get himself to the rim. Not able to finish, but able to get himself to the line. Oliver looking for his fourth and fifth points of the game, is 1 of 2 at the free throw line tonight. First free throw on the way is up and good. 4 in the game for Oliver. 10:53 left to play in this second half. Bruins will be off until Saturday when Moravian Prep will be in town. I'll have that game for you here on the Bruins Sports Network as both free throws up and good for Oliver. And there's a steal in the backcourt once again as Holly dribbled it right off his foot. Coleman with the steal, and the layup attempt is no good, but a foul. So the Trojans all of a sudden in the last 4 or 5 minutes or so have had some trouble with this three-quarter court trap for the Bruins defensively. Turned it over a couple of times. That time a little bit of an unforced error as Holly dribbled it right off his leg, right into the hands of Holly, or right into the hands of Coleman rather, and Coleman back at the line. He's got 10 points in the game. Chance to become the Bruins' leading scorer at the stripe here. First free throw is good. So Coleman having a nice second half, taking advantage of the opportunity again against a team playing at this level. As China Jones goes to the bench and Colton Bishop returns. Second free throw for Coleman is good. 12 in the game for Coleman, 8 of them in the second half. As the Bruins will continue to employ this three-quarter court trap, Trojans break it a little bit more effectively this time. As Owens to the near side, Rahama looking for another three. That one hits off the back of the rim. Rebound battled for. It's loose in the lane, picked up by Robinson. Robinson, no numbers. He's going to take it anyway. Throws it up wildly, no good. And the rebound taken away by Owens. Robinson thought he was fouled. Trojans back the other way. Catch and shoot three by Holly. Hits off the front of the rim. And a putback jam coming in from the weak side by Rahama. Lawal Daniel Rahama with the putback dunk coming from the weak side of the floor. 80-46 our score. 10:04 left to play in the ball game. Just about halfway through the second half. Trojan crowd and bench really like that one. Rahama just swooping in from the weak side. Colton Bishop trying to do the same thing, swooping in from the weak side and able to put it back though, and the rebound taken away by the Trojans. 80-46, 9:44 left to play in this second half. As Rahama hits the deck behind the play, might have just slipped. Looks like he's okay, and he'll come to the bench. Ciante Melvin back into the game for the Trojans. William Vetter also in the game. Holly throws it in the backcourt for Wiggins, and the Trojans will get into their offense. 15 on the shot clock. Holly trying to lob it down low for Vetter. Vetter hits the deck, and they're going to whistle a foul against Oliver. They're going to say that Oliver held him. I'm not entirely sure I agree with that, but nevertheless, 7th team foul, or 6th team foul, 5th team foul, I'm sorry, we'll get it right one of these times. 5th team foul against the Bruins. So the Trojans will inbound on the baseline. Bruins are in the bonus the rest of the way. Vetter trying to move it to the near wing. Pass deflected out of bounds, though, by Oliver. So the Trojans will take a couple of steps to their right and try it again as Vetter throws it in for Sykes. To the top for Wiggins. Behind the screen. Thought about the three, did Holly. Skipped it far side for Melvin. Melvin to the top for Sykes. Back for Melvin again. Down to 7 on the shot clock. Catch and shoot 3 on the way for Holly. That one off the front of the rim. Rebound taken away by Poitras and the Bruins. Tamir Glenn back into the game. Behind the back dribble at the top. Working against Melvin. Trying to get it inside for Poitras is Coleman. Instead, Coleman drives the baseline. Hangs in the air. Got the ball knocked away, though. Good strong drive again by Coleman. Just not able to maintain possession. Driving back the other way. Lost the basketball, did Wiggins. Now a run out back the other direction. Oliver goes in one-on-one. Takes the contact. Not able to lay it in, but a foul. Deontay Melvin back to give that foul and prevent the dunk for Oliver. And Oliver now will go to the stripe, where he is 3 of 4 today. 5 points in the game for the junior. 80-46 our score, 8:51 left to play in the game. First free throw on the way for Oliver. Looking good. Start looking for things that the Bruins have done well tonight. Free throws would be among them. Shot it pretty well at the stripe so far. And now one more at the line for Oliver. Second free throw just does crawl over the front of the rim and in. 7 in the game for him, 80-48. Still a 32-point deficit. It was 30 at halftime. Trojans able to break the full court pressure. Nice no-look pass underneath for Vetter. Vetter lays it in, but they're going to say before the shot, the foul was committed by the Bruins. When the Trojans have been able to break this Bruin pressure, that has often been the result, as they've been able to find bigs on the baseline. Get a quick timeout for the Bruins, trailing 80-48. We'll take we will keep it here, as it's just going to be a 30-second timeout. Taking a look at some of the leading scorers in the ball game right now. Curtis Coleman leading the way for the Bruins, has 12, 8 of those in the second half. Colton Bishop also in double figures with 10. Tamir Glenn sitting right behind that with 9. Trojans, meanwhile, with 4 players in double figures. Leading the way, Jameer Howes with 20. Brandon Holly has 17 points. Cedric Wiggins with 15. And the wall, Daniel Arahma with 12. Out of the timeout, it'll be Trojan basketball. They'll inbound it underneath the hoop. Vetter will throw it in. Vetter moves it into the corner for Wiggins. Wiggins with a right-hand dribble, skips it into the corner, drive it along the baseline. Melvin from the far side. No good, and a charging foul as he barrels over Coleman underneath the basket. So the Bruins will get it back. Looking to get a little bit closer, and if you're Coach Josh Howard, I think you'd be happy if your team can find a way to win the second half as a sign of progress after trailing by 30 at the break, down by 32 right now with 8:20 left to play. And again, this game was going to be a learning experience for this Bruins team, one way or the other. Tamir Glenn forces a very tough shot. Loose ball comes all the way back out to the free throw or three-point line, where Kendall Oliver picks it up, and the Bruins will get a fresh shot clock. And this is about gaining experience at the top levels of the sport, as Curtis Coleman fires up an open three, hits off the side of the rim, boxed out by China Jones, or by Malik Morris rather, not able to secure that rebound though. It's going to be a jump ball, and the Bruins will keep it. So the Bruins will throw it in on the far side of the floor with Tamir Glenn. Glenn into the corner from Morris. Thought about the three, instead goes with the jab step, drives the lane, scoops it up underneath on the opposite side. Not able to get the layup, but does draw the foul. Nice strong move that time by Malik Morris. And Morris, after the big game on Saturday, will get another opportunity at the stripe. Has 6 points in the game, making his first trip to the line tonight. Bruins now in the double bonus, will shoot two the rest of the way. First free throw is good. Seven in the game for Morris. Second free throw is good. 8 in the game now, and scored 80-50. As the Bruins back to even as far as where we started from in this second half. Bruins having some success, again, pressuring the ball in the backcourt, but the Trojans just do get it across this time. And now out front, we'll get into their offense with Wiggins. Handling the basketball back toward that Bruin midcourt logo. Goes with the crossover and away from the screen. Crosses back over, gets into the lane. Scoop layup won't go. Fresh shot clock. The putback by Sykes is no good. Sykes a third opportunity. Got it knocked away and taken away by the Bruins. Colton Bishop near side of the floor. Tamir Glenn catch and shoot the three and is good. Tamir Glenn. 12 in the game now for the junior Glenn. 80-53. Trojans trying to answer. Back down the other end. Puts it up, score it, and the foul does William Vetter. Got two Bruins up in the air with the pump fake that time. Just as the Bruins had been able to get it under 30 for the first time in seemingly forever. So it'll be one at the line for Vetter. Trying to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. Hasheem Weston back into the game. Oliver will sit. 17th foul against the Bruins, so now the Trojans in the bonus the rest of the way. Free throw skips off the front of the rim. Rebound taken away by Tamir Glenn. Glenn speeds it into the front court. On the near wing, steps back, fires an open three, and knocks it down. Back-to-back three-pointers for Tamir Glenn, who's now got 15 in the game. That's the deficit to 26, and the Bruins with renewed energy defensively as Colton Bishop out harassing Wiggins. Wiggins puts it on the deck with the right hand, and then his whistle for the foul is Bishop. Bishop having a conversation with the official, thinks that Wiggins cleared out a little bit using that forearm. That'll be team foul number 8 against the Bruins, so it'll be a 1-and-1 opportunity for the Trojans at the free throw line. There's going to be a lot of free throws the rest of the way, I think. As Wiggins will be at the stripe. Couple of substitutions as Coleman goes to the bench for the Bruins. Poitras back in. Free throw is up and good for Wiggins, so we'll get one more. Tamir Glenn with the left-hand dribble, gets all the way to the rim. Misses the layup in tight. Bishop had an opportunity at the miss, but instead it's taken away by the Trojans. Trojans back the other way. 84-56 is our score. Owens to the near side again for Wiggins. Trying to get it on the baseline low for Sykes. Sykes into the lane. Nice shovel pass underneath for Howes. Howes with the left-handed push shot, no. And the rebound to Poitras. 6 minutes left to play in the ball game. Bruins trying to get a little closer. Bishop pull up three is up and through. Colton Bishop. And that will draw a timeout from head coach for the Trojans for Virginia State, Lonnie Blow. It's a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here. But the Bruins have put up a really good fight in the second half. Trailed by as many as 37 in the second half, but have now cut it down to 25. And again, this is kind of what Coach Howard was looking for over these final 20 minutes, was a little bit more fight out of his group and a strong finish to this game to kind of show that they learned some of the lessons that they were taught in the first half about playing against a team at this level. Out of the timeout, it'll be Trojan basketball. The Bruins have knocked down a couple of threes in the last few trips. One by Bishop there. Tamir Glenn has a couple of threes in the last few trips as well. Jared Key into the game for the first time for the Bruins. Out of the timeout, Jared Parks also back in. Or Robert Parks, rather. Trojans with the basketball out front is Wiggins. Moves it into the hands of Howes. Howes has been the star for this Trojans team. Hasn't played in quite a while, though. It's the three from Wiggins is up and through. Cedric Wiggins now with 20 in the ball game, matches Howes for the game high. Key onto the baseline. Jumper on the way is no good for Morris. Hit off the top of the backboard. Loose ball taken away by the Trojans. Morris was knocked down shooting it, but no whistle. Back the other direction, Wiggins to the far side into the hands of Owens. Owens back in the hands of Wiggins now. They'll take it under 5 minutes left to play in the ball game on this trip. Shot clock down to 15. Wiggins being defended by Key to the near side into the hands again of Owens. Check that for her. Holly. Holly lost the basketball, stolen away. Out in the open floor goes Morris. Morris with a right-hand layup is up and through, and you see the speed of Morris in the open floor. Able to outrun the Trojans to the rim. Lays it in to make it 87-61. 4:35 left to play in the ball game. Owens on the weave out front for Wiggins. Key watching him. To the near side for Holly. Holly gets it back on the baseline for Wiggins. Thought about the three. Instead will enter it down low for Howes. Howes driving it inside on Weston. Turnaround layup is up and good. Good strong post move again by Howes. Just spinning to the baseline and laying it in. 22 in the game for Howes. Parks out front with the basketball for the Bruins. 4:08 to play in this second half. Key onto the baseline for Morris. Down low inside for Poitras. Lost the basketball. Now double teamed in no man's land. Looking for some help. Finds it inside for Morris, who got it swatted away. And the rebound tied up underneath the basket as Morris slaps the padding in frustration. Jump ball will give the ball back over to the Trojans. We'll get substitutions for both sides. Morris will get a seat. China Jones back into the game. Trojans will make wholesale subs. Andrew Corum back in, as well as Jalen Jackson. Sykes also back into the game for the Trojans. As we play out these final 3:48. Again, some things to like for the Bruins in this second half. You like the way that they've continued to battle and have taken it straight at this Trojans team, especially offensively. A little bit more confident getting to the rim, much more so than we ever saw in the first half. Jackson with the contested three, hits off the back of the rim, a long rebound, pulled down by Sykes. Sykes moves it to the far side into the hands of Owens. Owens with a right-hand dribble, matched up with Key, doing a good job defensively moving his feet. Down to 16 on the shot clock. Jackson picks up his dribble at the top, comes near side for Wiggins. Wiggins, good job clearing some space. Little scoop layup won't go. Offensive rebound and a putback is up and through, though. Tony Richardson, his first basket of the night, playing for the first time tonight. Just about everybody who has played tonight for the Trojans has scored, with a couple of exceptions. China Jones to the top for Key. Back for Jones on the wing. Jones hangs in the air, rolls it over the front of the rim and in. First basket of the game for Jones, the freshman. Cuts the deficit to 28 at 91-63. 2:30 left to play in the game as Jackson, a couple of long strides across the lane for Jalen Jackson, who lays it in. 7 in the game for him. Bruins basketball with 2:20 to play in the ball game. Key to the far side of the floor for Weston. Jones to the near side for Key. And now back up top for Parks. Driving it inside, cutting along the baseline. Lay it up, score it, and a foul for Hashim Weston. Really, really nice play by Weston as he took some serious contact that time, but was able to finish through it with the layup high off the top of the glass. Makes it 93-65, and now Weston will get another one. First basket of the game for Weston. Another of the young freshmen on this team for Coach Howard and the Bruins. Jalen Jackson will take a seat on the bench. Andrew Corum back in. Free throw on the way, hits off the back of the rim for Weston. The rebound to the Trojans, who want to push back the other direction as we approach 2 minutes to play in the ballgame. Phillip Owens. Top of the key for Richardson, and then thrown away out of bounds by Corum, trying to get it on the baseline for Vetter. So the Bruins will get it back. 93-65, under 2 minutes to play. Parks near side for Key, onto the baseline for Poitras. Poitras trying to back his way in against Vetter. Comes with a little hop step and lays it up and in. Short jumper for Poitras. 6 in the game for him. His first points of the second half, though. Out front with the basketball is Owens. Under 90 seconds to play. Nice entry pass down low for Richardson. Matched up underneath. Little turnaround hook shot over the top of China Jones is good for Richardson. Bruins back the other way, trying to answer. Thrown away, though, in no man's land by Weston. To the near side, Holly looking for another three. Hits off the side of the rim. Rebound, tapped around. Last touch out of bounds off the Trojans. Bruins will get it back. 1:06 to play in the night. Minor, our next broadcast coming your way on Saturday evening when the Bruins welcome in Moravian Prep. 7:30 tip-off will be on the air on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live at 7:25. Parks with the basketball to the top for Key. Far side for Jones. Inside, down low inside for Weston. Nice job splitting two defenders. Not able to finish the layup, though. And the rebound taken away by the Trojans. Back the other direction comes Owens. About 16-second game to shot clock differential, so the Trojans will have to shoot it one more time at least. Driving it inside is Corum to the top. An open three on the way for Richardson, or check that for Vetter is no good. Rebound ping-ponged around and taken away by the Bruins. Parks wants to run, gets it to Key. Fires the lefty three, hits off the front of the rim. Rebound tapped right into the hands of China Jones. Turns around, fires an 18-footer. That's no good. The rebound taken away by Corum, and that should be the final shot of the game as the shot clock is off. The game clock is under 10 seconds to play, and yes, that'll be the final score. So Virginia State, as advertised, comes in, led this game 52-22 at the half. Bruins show a lot more fight and effort in the second half. Took it right at the Trojans. Did some really good work on the offensive end. Had this down to 24 at one point. But ultimately, the Trojans are able to win this one, 95-67. They improved to 5-3 on the year. The Bruins will drop to 4-7. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll hear from head coach Josh Howard, get his thoughts on tonight's matchup, and then we'll take a look ahead to Saturday's game against Moravian Prep. That's all still to come as we begin our post-game coverage coming up after this on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
Okay.
Post-game coverage begins now as we welcome you back inside the Pope Activity Center here on the campus of Piedmont International University. Final score, Virginia State 95 and the Bruins 67. Head coach Josh Howard joins us now. And, Coach, we were talking off the air a minute ago that your team came out with the right mentality early in this game, played downhill, and played with the right kind of effort level that you need to play against a higher division team like this. But once the second group came in, kind of fell in love with the jump shot, and that's where things kind of snowballed on you in that first half.
Yeah, exactly. When we playing a big team like that in Virginia State, you got to continue to drive the ball. Shots wasn't falling, and again, once they started making shots, we thought we could compete with that. But being at home, we got to draw the fouls and driving the ball to the basketball. To the court. To the hole. Excuse me. Definitely get that done.
So that's where things kind of got away. You trailed by 30 at the half, and then talking at halftime, I thought maybe what you kind of wanted to see was the team learn those lessons in the second half and apply that towards that second half. And then I thought in the second half, the team played really downhill, got to the rim instead of settling for the three-point shots, which were always there. You're kind of baiting you into shooting some of those. But then in the second half, again, really downhill, got to the rim, made some really nice plays, I thought, and also defensively kind of made them shoot it from the outside a little bit more.
Exactly. We also switched over to the man-to-man in the second half. I saw that we could do that halfway through the first half, but just wanted to stick with it. So with that being said, I know my guys can play man-to-man against any team. We just have to be ready from the start of the game. And again, like you said, they definitely played downhill second half, but we need that the full 40 minutes.
And when you have games like this, sometimes it's interesting to see which players step up into the moment against bigger teams like this. And I thought especially in the second half, after being a little bit tentative in the first half, Curtis Coleman gave you a lift to start that second half, where he was the one that really started getting to the rim and really kind of started that trend for you.
Yes, and it's a blessing to have that freshman on this team. He's definitely worked hard to get here, and to have him on my team again is a blessing. Being able to listen to me, especially when I tell them to drive, he literally takes that personal. So again, my whole team, again, this was a tough one, but we're going to learn from this, and we got to turn the page and get ready for Moravian Prep.
Yeah, coming up on Saturday against Moravian, another opportunity to gain some experience and get a little bit better as a team. What do you want to see between now and Saturday before you take the floor again?
I want to see our guys on offense actually continue to run the plays all the way to the end and start paying attention to all our options. I put the offense in for us to score anytime. We just got to be ready to score. And that's going to separate us from a lot of good teams. I want to be a great team.
Get some opportunities down the stretch here, Coach. We appreciate you taking a couple of minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Head Coach Josh Howard talking about tonight's matchup. Final score 95-67 as the Bruins fall to Virginia State tonight, dropping to 4-7 on the season. Virginia State improving to 5-3. So that's the story from here. Again, you heard Coach mention it, that we'll have our next broadcast coming up on Saturday night when Moravian Prep comes to town. That'll be right back here at the Pope Activity Center on Saturday, December 8th. Tip-off scheduled for 7:30, and we'll have pregame coverage for you beginning here on the Bruins Sports Network at 7:25. So that's everything from here. Want to thank our producer-engineer, Erica Washburn, as well as our other producer-engineer, Mason Cox, for helping out with tonight's broadcast. The final score is 95-67, and we'll talk to you Saturday night as the Bruins get set to take on Moravian Prep right here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Good night, everybody.